Rasulullah wa ba'd. So the next hadith is hadith number 113, where Abu Huraira, he said, يقول ما من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحد أكثر حديثا عنه مني. So Abu Huraira was one of the people who narrated many hadiths, especially in Sahih Bukhari. He said, there is nobody among the companions of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who narrated more hadith than I have. إلا ما كان من عندي إلا ما كان من Abdullah bin Amr, except what Abdullah ibn Amr has. So one companion has more hadith than I do. And he explained why. He said, فَإِنَّهُ كَانَ يَكْتُبُ وَلَا أَكْتُبُ. He said, he used to write and I didn't used to write. And so this hadith, Imam al-Bukhari, he puts it in a chapter of writing down of knowledge. And there's two important lessons that we learn from it. The first lesson is sometimes you'll hear people say that, our books of hadith have not been preserved like the Quran. The Quran has been memorized, it's been written down very early on. So books like hadith, scholars like Imam Bukhari and Muslim and Tirmidhi and Abu Dawud, Nasai, Ibn Majah, all of these, even Imam Malik, these came about 150 years after the Prophet, peace and blessing, or after the Hijrah. They were written down. And people start to say, oh, well, we don't know if we can accept these books or whatever it may be. So Imam al-Bukhari is indirectly addressing this concept. And he's saying that the hadith were actually written down during the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. We find some of the Sahaba. We have a lot of documentation about this. And there's entire books written about this. Authority of Sunnah by Mufti Taqi Uthman is one of the best books on this subject. So this is one thing we learn, is that some of the companions, they used to write down the hadith during the time. And Abu Huraira is saying, I'm not one of those who wrote, but Abdullah bin Amr al-As, he's one of the people who wrote. So he had a little bit more than me, maybe not in terms of quantity that was narrated, in terms of what we have in our collections now, but in terms of the variety and certain things, he had that, whereas Abu Huraira didn't have that. The second thing we learn is, what is Abu Huraira trying to say? He's also saying that there is, or there was, a superiority in writing in order to remember things. And this is interesting because, when you study Islamic knowledge, there's a famous saying that Arabs have. They say, al-ilmu sayd wal-kitabatu qayd. They said that when you seek knowledge, it's like hunting. You're hunting, you're searching for knowledge, you're trying to capture it. So wal-kitabatu qayd. It says writing is the trap in order to get the thing that you're hunting or the thing that you're searching for. And so how this relates to us, I know most people, they're not going to come with a notebook. They're going to start writing notes down during every khatib or during every lecture. But one of the problems we have in our society today is that people tend to forget things. And I'm not talking about the elderly people. Naturally, they're having issues with their mind. I'm talking about teenagers, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds who are supposed to have a sharper memory than people in their 70s or in their 80s. But for some strange reason, they can't remember things. You're in the middle of your talking, and all of a sudden, in the middle of your sentence, you're like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. You open up your phone and you say, you know what? Oh yeah, I have something to do. I'm going to write this down on my to-do list. And then you open your phone and you go, oh, brother so-and-so messaged me. Let me just respond to him real quickly. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what was I doing? Why did I open my phone? Completely have no idea what's going on. And so what's happening is today, we're falling into another problem, another dimension, where if writing helped preserve things that we wanted to remember in the past over just memorizing it just by itself, today we can't remember the things that we need to remember and the things that we want to remember. And this is hadith is related to that. So one of the things we need to do is we need to look at our own lifestyle. Say, what is going on in our habits, in our behaviors, that's causing this type of massive switching back and forth, overly multitasking, trying to talk to 5 people at once or having 20 conversations at once, and the quality of all those conversations, the quality of you trying to remember the things and the projects and the tasks you're supposed to be doing, has gone down extremely, like massively down. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to do the things that we should be doing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand how the sunnah was preserved. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to understand the beauty of our deen. Ameen wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum.